Welcome to the bold analysis. Raila Odinga is expected to make a major announcement on bipartisan talks a day after holding closed-door meeting with Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, who was leading the Raila Munya delegation in the three-tier bipartisan talks. And in that closed-door meeting that was attended by Azimio leaders, including Eugene Wamalwa, Martha Karua, Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya, and other leaders, they have revealed what exactly is the real thing going on in the bipartisan talks. The talks started and was supposed to last for only 60 days. And this was after 60 days, a report should be ready. Then that report is handed over to the two principals, Raila Odinga and William Ruto. But in a heated crisis meeting, Kalonzo Musyoka has revealed to Raila Odinga about the deliberate effort by the government side on making sure that the talks are scattered, or rather, the talks are dragged. Sources in the meeting said that William Ruto, Raila Odinga may issue fresh demands to William Ruto over the talks. What is going on? The meeting was also attended by Peter Munya. The 5-member negotiation team said that a meeting that was supposed to be held last week by the technical team, so that they would submit a report to the negotiation committee this week on Monday, did not happen, as the members of the technical team from government side gave excuses that they were not around. Some of them were not in the country, and it has been a deliberate effort that even the strategy to have secretariat, technical team, a negotiation team to make sure that talks is broken down in the three tiers was a strategy of getting how it can be delayed. If it is not delayed at the technical team, it is somewhere delayed at the negotiation team or even delayed at the secretariat. So Kalonzo is saying that those that are supposed to come up with the report at the technical committee did not meet because Kenya Kwanza side gave excuses. It has made it impossible for them to take any decision without asking for time to consult, therefore delaying progress. Kalonzo is saying that since they started meeting, they have not made any step towards discussing all those aspects that they listed down. They have not discussed anything, because whenever they start a discussion, it will stop, and the government side will ask more time to go and consult their bosses, saying very well that Kalonzo is saying he is meeting Kimani Chungwa, Arun Cheriot, and the rest, but in real sense, he is actually talking to William Ruto. Because whenever something is tabled to be discussed, they will walk out, start making calls, and come back and explain that the talks have to stop because they need to still take time and consult. And he's saying that it's a deliberate scheme by delaying those talks. And that is why we said that Kalonzo Musyoka recently made a political blunder. I still believe a political blunder, when he said they had already, gave William Ruto legitimacy, and because William Ruto had goodwill in those talks. What has been happening is that Kimani Ichung'wah, who was so vocal about the talks, was actually told to keep quiet. At the moment he keeps quiet, any other person then is making all the noises and all the diversions about the need for those talks. So with the commitment of Kimani Ichung'wah, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka saw a commitment. But that is why he will later come and explain that, government is committed in it. However, this is not coming as a surprise to me. In fact, it's just coming as a reminder. Kenya Kwanza MPs, Edward Muriu, I think Gatanga, Member of Parliament, Rigathi Gachagua, and even William Ruto was speaking in Nyeri. They have all hinted at a possibility that the talks is just a plan to manage Raila Odinga. This has been there. It's not a surprise. And it's talks to make sure that, you manage Raila Odinga and have to move here and there. And of course, there is no tangible thing with it. The fact that it was even anchored on law was not a guarantee. And there is that which is coming out clearly. The opposition leaders listed pulling out of the talks as one of the options should there be no commitment by President Ruto's side to fast track the negotiations. So this is not new. You've seen even closest allies to William Ruto saying that the talks are not going to end anywhere. And over last week, after expulsion of Jalango and the team from ODM party, there are some fellows within Kenya Kwanza side that even said they will pull out of the talks so that they protect or they stand in solidarity with the Jalangos, because Jalangos had a friendship with William Samoei Ruto. I want to opine and say without fear of contradiction that the bipartisan talks is just a waste of time. And how I wish that after that crisis meeting, Raila and Kalonzo and the Azimio fraternity sees the essence of ending those talks. My position on these talks was that Raila Odinga needed an exit strategy from Andamano, because the protests turned very tragic. Young people are being killed, and ethnic profiling of the Luo community. And in those areas that are Raila Odinga's strongholds, there's a bit of police was unleashed on the population, and it was a very hectic situation. So it's very clear that to end, and because they also had to find a way, they managed the population. So even if the talks will just end, the protests will just end without any next step, it will not work. Now, if someone thought that dragging these talks is delaying Raila, is trying to manage Raila, that person is wrong. Because Raila himself also needed the retreat to re-strategize. The Azimio also needed time to re-strategize and look at what's the next course of action. I wish they pull out of those talks, because if they're going to be hijacked, they're going to be hijacked to create a working relationship between Azimio and Kenya Kwanza. And while a working relationship is coined, the person that's going to suffer is the population. Step out of those talks and let Raila, Kalonzo, Karua and the team understand that William Ruto has gone back to the campaign trail. That's one thing they need to get. William Ruto is back in the campaign trail and is charting the 2027 political path. Very aggressive and very vibrant. All these events, all these Sunday denominational services and the Saturday rallies organized as launching projects are just meant as opportunities to campaign. Raila must relaunch the 2027 political roadmap with and look at what next. The question of who is going to vie must and should be answered as early as now. So get out of those thoughts, because there's nothing going on. It is true that from what Kalonzo has said, it has actually confirmed what some of the leaders have been repeating, that they're just trying to manage this situation. Number two, Azimio must be brave and come out strong and guns blazing to go head on with William Ruto on the checks and balances. During this time that Raila has not been criticizing William Ruto, that Azimio has been silent on William Ruto, the only team that have been raising queries is the media. And the media left on their own. My previous video I did on NGOs asked to align themselves to Kenya Kwanza bottom-up thing. There, as we speak now, there is the whole contagious, the whole controversial privatization of some ports in Mombasa, Lamu, and Kilifi, and Kisumu. Now, all this needs the attention of the opposition. What is your position on some of these things? There is increase in taxes each and every day. What is opposition saying about it? Now, all these things are happening at this time that some demi talks are going on. And that is why I believe that William Ruto will want that friendly environment, because while he continues to inflict the wounds on the population, we don't want someone sitting the other side calling, or rather asking him the tough questions. Let Azimio come out and revamp their political parties ahead. Let them strengthen the parties. You know, I saw William Ruto is doing something with the UDA. And you know, when they've started going to streets, going to counties with the women donning the yellow colors. Let's see all the constituent parties within Azimio Moja, then also doing their activities. Because I think, for one thing I understand very well here is the political parties fund has not been given to parties, and of course it's a strategy to withhold it so that it's given last minute. I know, you know, the state UDA is a state party, so they can always be funded by some other miscellaneous expenses from other sources. So then they can easily be funded. But the political parties may need the political parties fund. But I also understand they get donor funding. Some of them are getting donor funding, and some of them are also getting contribution from members. So they should also revamp their political parties looking at 2027. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my take. But before I finish, let me remind you about Topmark Movers, amazing company that helps in transportation and movement of your office items, logistics, office items or household, or even fumigation services. You need to contact them because they're the best, reliable, affordable, professional, and they will always guarantee you the safety of your treasures. Look at their website www.topmarkmovers.com or contact them at +254 719 17 43 93. Topmark Movers, quality is everything.